here. It is finally here. The mythical Final Fantasy VII Remake now exists and is playable. This game and Kingdom Hearts 3 are some of the most highly requested games of all time. Demands of this one in particular though started with that PS3 tech demo showing at E3 in 2005. Of course, at the time it was a demonstration of what the PS3 can do and not an actual game. Rumors have gone around for years surrounding this game. Years, I tell you. Have you heard all of the Half-Life 3 is confirmed memes? Let me tell you, fans clung to whatever hint, rumor, or speculation hoping that the Final Fantasy VII Remake is confirmed. Of course, it never happened in the PS3 generation, but instead, it was officially announced that a remake was finally coming to the PS4 E3 2015, and boy, do I wish I recorded my reaction to that. But I do remember it vividly. There I was watching Sony's E3 conference, watching the World of Final Fantasy trailer, slouching in my chair like this, and then when I saw the live stream come up right after the trailer, I went and then as he was saying groundbreaking, popular demand, I was like, what could it be? And then the trailer started playing, and then I heard the music and saw all the hints that this was something Final Fantasy VII related, and I kept asking, is this a sequel or a remake? Sequel or remake? All throughout the trailer. And then when Barrett and Cloud showed up, I was like, oh man. And then that meteorite, and then the words remake came up, and I was like, oh! Sorry. While some people have been waiting 15 years for this game, I got into Final Fantasy in 2009, and Final Fantasy VII has been my favorite game of all time since then. And personally, I have been waiting 10 years for this game, and out of every game that has come out in my years of playing video games, and trust me, I have been playing video games my whole life, the games I was the most excited for were Super Smash Bros. Brawl, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is this game right here. Since I got into Final Fantasy back in 2009, I have played every numbered Final Fantasy except for 11. I beat every one of them too, except for 3 and 12, and I do not count 11 and 14 as games you can beat. I enjoyed the series for the most part, however, I did not like 12 and 15 all that much. My favorite ones in the series are first and foremost 7, second favorite being 8, third favorite being 10, fourth being 9, and fifth being 6. So yeah, to me the series dropped in quality after 10, and for a long time I have been wanting a good mainline modern Final Fantasy that would bring the same excitement as the ones my favorite ones did. Does this game do that for me? I'll tell you right now, I love this game, but I also have some blunt criticism, so let's go into more detail, shall we? Oh, and one more thing. I am going to be doing 3 videos for this review. This video will be the gameplay, the second video will be the story, and the third video will be audio, presentation, and my final thoughts. So, hit it! By the way, I'm assuming you have already played the game because I will be spoiling this game rotten. Final Fantasy VII Remake is an action RPG, and while some people would have preferred turn-based, let me talk to you about how the classic game works before talking about the remake. In typical turn-based combat, you and the enemy take turns attacking each other. Final Fantasy VII may have the look and feel of turn-based combat, but it is actually time-based combat. Not turn-based, time-based. If you want a good turn-based game from Square Enix, Dragon Quest XI has you covered. Final Fantasy VII's time-based combat is called the Active Time Battle System. You see this meter right here? That charges with time, and when it is filled, then you take a turn. You don't see it, but enemies also attack this way too, so there's a real time element here. You can just stand there and the enemy will keep attacking you. They don't wait around for jack. So how does that carry over into the new game? There is still a meter that fills up before you take a turn. In this case, what I mean by turn is input commands, use special abilities, or heal yourself. Since now we're talking about an action RPG here, the action elements allow basic attacks to be executed as well as blocking and dodging while you're waiting for your turn. Enemies also fight this way too. I know this combat system seems drastically different from the original game, but I would actually argue that it is much closer to the original game than you might think. If you take away the mechanics that make it an action RPG, you would have something that is almost identical to the original game's combat. Almost. But there is classic mode that will make the game feel more like the original. When doing classic mode, you would only have to worry about turns while your characters block, dodge, and attack automatically. I did the first chapter on this setting and it felt like the game played itself for me, though it seems like the characters will block pretty often to give you a chance to have some input. Returning is the materia system. I loved this system in the original game because of how customizable it is. When you equip materia on a character, you bring the ability of that materia into combat. For example, want to cast fire spells? Equip a fire materia. Want to heal yourself? Equip healing materia, and that's the basics of it. It's largely unchanged from the original game, but since it's now called Assess, and Magnify replaced the All materia in this game. All was a useful materia that allowed you to cast a spell on all the enemies on the screen instead of just one. Magnify in the new game, on the other hand, makes it to where a spell can hit more than one target, so not exactly the same as All, but hitting multiple targets is similar to me, I think. Sure, it may sound like you can just hack and slash your way through this game, but no! You have to be strategic still. In fact, if you try playing this game like a simple hack and slash, you're dead. I played on normal mode and the game is not easy. Your characters will die a lot, and I've gotten a game over quite a bit. In Kingdom Hearts, I've been able to play those games by just mashing the X button. Final Fantasy XV didn't even need my characters alive. I can just mush the attack button and use my large stash of potions when necessary. This game though has punished me for playing like that. I'm telling you, you gotta play smart with this game. How does this game make you play strategically? Oh, let me tell you about a few of the bosses in this game. The Guard Scorpion, or Scorpion Sentinel, whatever. If you hack and slash this thing, you're not going to do much damage. But lightning magic is very effective against it. And then after a bit of that, it turns on its shield, where hacking and slashing is almost useless. Almost, I mean. So with the barrier up, you attack its rear end. A bit of an odd thing to say, but anyway. I also really like the Airbuster boss fight. It is an in-chapter boss, but in the chapter leading up to it, you can sabotage it. I normally hate time limits, but still, this fight was epic. Oh, I lost? Who cares? I'll fight it again. Also, there's the Reno boss fight, which is a good one. Wait, my attacks keep missing him? Oh, but wait, he counterattacks. Yeah, this is one of those moments where the game punishes you for just hacking and slashing. Oh, but wait, he hacks and slashes himself, so let's punish him back by blocking his attacks, knocking him off balance. Yeah. Oh, you want to use lightning balls? Well, too bad, they're not getting in my way. You also fight him again with Rude later on, and yes, Rude still has a crush on Tifa, though when you try beating him up as Tifa, he won't let you. Like, I love the boss fights in this game. I could go on, but I have one gripe, unfortunately. I did enjoy the boss fight with Rufus. I loved counterattacking him with Cloud's counter stance, but there is another boss fight right after this one. For me, it's alright when a final boss is several fights back to back, but when there are two normal boss fights back to back, it's a JRPG pet peeve of mine. I would put in so much effort and use so many resources into one boss fight that having another one right after is just frustrating. I don't have any complaints against either boss fights, don't get me wrong, but thankfully, if you die in the second boss, you can try again from the start of the second boss, but here's another caveat. If you turn off the PS4 during either of these two boss fights and come back, you'll have to fight Rufus again. But still, I could go on about how fun and awesome these boss fights are, but couple more things about the combat. They brought in the stagger mechanic from Final Fantasy XIII, and it makes playing strategically and taking advantages of enemy weaknesses fun and rewarding. There is nothing like hacking and slashing away at a staggered enemy for bonus damage. Though, as much as I appreciate how carefully Square Enix considered the variables behind the gameplay, and as much as I love this game's combat system, there is one thing I would change. I'm all for playing smart, but I've had moments where I would cast a spell during one of my turns, and then the enemy would come in, attack me, cancel my spell without a refund for my turn or MP. I would suggest changing that in Part 2, Square. This game has 4 playable characters, though in combat only 3 at a time could be used. Cloud is a well-balanced fighter who's pretty much good at everything, and in games, I like to use a sword. Barrett is a physical, ranged fighter and of the tank class, but would not recommend him for magic attacks due to low MP. Aerith I would recommend as a magic user, but of course, anyone can use magic in the game via materia. But she is designed to be the black or white. Let's go with red mage, though she's more so a white mage. I don't recommend her for attacking per se, but basic attacks do fill the ATB gauge faster, so I swap to her when I need to heal someone quickly. Tifa, oh man, she is one of my favorites to use in the original game and this game because I do like the monk class in Final Fantasy. That and she's fast, agile, and combo game is fun to pull off. Not only that, but I'm all about melee fighting. Limit breaks are back too, which are special moves that deal bonus damage. Though to do one, you gotta take advantage of enemy weaknesses and try to stagger the enemy. Braver is one of Cloud's character abilities now, but you still have cross slash and climb hazard, though climb hazard is now Ascension. Barrett's level 4 limit break is now his second limit break in this game. Another reason I liked using Tifa because I found her limit breaks to be good, although in this game, the slot machine is no longer there. If I had to guess, you have to be close to the enemy to land a hit, so if you're too far away, her limit break will miss, which that happens when you hit miss on the slot machine in the classic game. Summons are back too, though they show up on their own time in this game. I didn't like summons being done this way in Final Fantasy XV, but in this game, they are common and do show up at times when I would summon them anyway, so not complaining. I would prefer that they don't show up on their own time, but hey, it works for me in this game. When it comes to equipment, I'm a simple guy. I just pick the strong ones, but in this game, they have unique abilities tied to them as well as their own strengths. Weaknesses too, and you can also manually upgrade them, though I look for adding additional materia slots first. I will say upgrading these weapons have the look and feel of the Crystarium from Final Fantasy XIII. Part 2 is going to be the story part of this review. However, I didn't get to talk about everything gameplay related that I wanted to talk about, so I'll be sure to talk about chapter specific things next time, merc quests, other optional content, and level design. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a like. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified when part 2 comes out. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time.